This is the outside of the 2021 Auto Sleeper Symbol Plus. As we move along, we will firstly come to the gas fill point. Just push in, twist, and the dust cover will release itself. Our UK fillers slide over the top of this section just here, and then it's just a matter of twisting a lever around, pulling it towards you and locking it onto the side of the van, and then holding a button down and putting in as much gas as you want, or just waiting it to click off, the same as a petrol pump would. The bezel part just here is to screw in the continental adapters. Beside this, we then have the mains hookup point. When removing the hookup, just make sure that you push down on the blue lever at the same time as well. We then have the little sticker for the emergency gas cutoff, which is located underneath the van, just here. I will show you in a moment. It's actually easier to get to from the other side because we do have the exhaust pipe in the way just here. Next we have water into the van, so we can either use the whale filler point, or we can just pop in a hose pipe just here and fill it up. With the whale filler point, you can have this permanently connected to a water source, so it just clicks in like so. This bit just drops down. You can see that we just have a standard hose lock on the other end. Just literally turn the water on, make sure the water fill is turned on the control panel, and then this will commence filling up the van. Like I say, if you leave the tap turned on, it will just constantly refill the tank as you are using it. To remove it, just slightly lift up, push in on the two blue buttons, and then remove. We then have external TV and satellite points, and there's also a 12-volt socket in there as well. Both vents for the fridge, just make sure nothing's obstructing them and try to avoid spraying too much water at them when washing the van. We then have fresh water drain and the grey water drain just clipped in here. To the rear we then have the flue for the boiler and the flue for the space heater. We don't need to do anything with either of these again, just make sure that nothing is obstructing them. We then have right in this corner just here a valve, so an air line that runs directly to the spare wheel, so we can check the tyre pressure and top it up if required without having to drop it. If it does need to be dropped down, there's a bar in the jack and wheel brace kit that just goes in at this point here and attaches to the brace, and then the spare wheel is wound down on a cable. As we come round to the back, we have the bike rack. So just pull it down like so, and then pop these straps through the wheels of the bikes, and then attach the arms to the frames. These doors can be folded fully back by pressing these buttons in here. Do not do it on the one this side with the bike rack, or otherwise the door will fold open and then the rails will smash the rear light. We have the whale boiler just here. You can also see one of the gas isolation taps. You will find these dotted around the van. I always say that they can be left turned on. They are more for maintenance than anything else. If you did smell gas in the van, I always suggest that you actually go underneath it and isolate the gas tank. So to drain the boiler down for winterization, it's just done here. Make sure the water pump's turned off and then just twist it like so, and as you can see, it's now ejecting the water. To refill it, pop it back across like so, fill up the fresh water tank, turn the water pump on, and then it will commence repriming of the boiler. You may need to open your taps up, let them cough, splutter as they force the air out. Once they're running freely on hot and cold, then close them back up again, and the system will fully reprime itself. As you can see, we have more gas isolation taps just here. So we have cooker, heating, and the fridge. And then we have the cassette toilet just here. Lift up on the blue lever and pull towards you to remove. Before use, remove the blue cap and add your toilet chemical with a small amount of water. This is also where it empties from. Just remember that when emptying it, to hold the button in here just to release the vacuum inside. It's also advisable to keep this seal lubricated. Thetford do their own seal lubricant, but any silicone based lubricant is fine. This is a nice, quick and easy way of giving the cassette a good clean. If anything was to wrap itself up around the float mechanism and it's giving you a false reading, you can gain access just here. Just literally turn, give it a little wiggle, and then you can remove the float. These are all now on wheels with fold out handles. As we come round, we then have the barbecue point. So you'll actually find the adapter is still attached with a cable tie. So just remove this and attach the hose of your barbecue to this rib section here and secure it with a Jubilee clip. This other end here then plugs in where my finger is and will lock into position, and it will then allow you to turn the gas on and off. To release, just push the collar up and it will then pop out. We then have the step. The step is operated just here. This step will automatically put itself away when the ignition is started, but I always suggest that you do make sure that it has put itself away. We then also have the low level LED lights and the awning light switch just here. As I said, to isolate the gas tank, it is just here. So you need to pull the lever just here and release the faceplate, and then behind this faceplate is a brass knob which is virtually the same as what you would find on the top of a propane bottle. Just literally turn it to isolate it. The regulator just sits here, and the regulator itself has a filter just here as well. Above we have the roll-out canopy. So pop the awning winding handle just in here and then wind it to release the canopy. As you can now see, I've wound the canopy out a short distance, so I would suggest doing this first and then dropping the legs for support so it's not putting so much stress on the awning itself. the legs are sprung loaded, so just push in and they will then drop down. Then drop the leg to the height that you require and then pull the grey lever up to lock it into place. And then do the same with the other leg. You will see that you also have these sections here that can then come across to give extra support to the awning when it's fully out. As you see, they will rest in these parts just here. Never leave the awning out in high winds, as you do run the risk of causing damage to it. We then have diesel fill just here. Cap unlocks on the ignition key, and then AdBlue top up underneath. It will let you know when AdBlue needs topping up on the dashboard. Tyre pressures just here, and then we have the rear air suspension top up and deflate just here. Again, they're just standard valves that you would find on your tyre. Anywhere within the green is fine. This one is slightly high, so after I've finished my demonstration video I will just let a small amount of air out of it. The airbags look like this. Jack and wheel brace is located underneath the passenger seat in its own little toolbox. Vehicle battery underneath the cab floor, and bonnet release is just here.